welcome to class. I'm Miss Faust. Please make sure, yes, please make sure you do have paper out today and a pen or pencil. I would like you to take notes. In other words, I'd like you to write down some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you, especially when I get out the boards. Yes, I did say boards. It's going to be 3. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness. Now keep in mind, today is day 2 of our reading time. Last class session, we started a story by Ernest Hemingway. Remember, I showed you some really wonderful photographs of Hemingway. Okay? So, yes, we're going to continue that story, and I'm going to go over it with you. So I would like you to write down some of the stuff that I'll be sharing with you. Perhaps you will understand the story even better. Okay? Are you ready? Yes, don't worry. I will bring out the boards shortly. Are you ready? Let us do this. So as we have here a very short story, Ernest Hemingway, we have a total of 6 paragraphs. I'm going to go through each paragraph. Of course, I'm not going to be very detailed, go really deep into it, but I'm going to make sure that you can understand the overall meaning of each paragraph. Okay, so in our first paragraph, we learn that we have a soldier who gets injured, okay, and he is dropped off at the hospital where a nurse named Luce is responsible for his care. So does that make sense? Okay, and it seems that right from the start they're close, aren't they? Okay. In the next paragraph, we learn that Luce does night duty for 3 months. Okay. So she basically is in care of the soldiers who are wounded, but she does it at nighttime, which the doctors and nurses at this hospital, they don't really mind. He has surgery, so she's going to be responsible for his aftercare. Okay. So he goes under anesthesia, when they put you to sleep so that you don't feel any pain, and hopefully you wake up after the surgery. Yeah, okay. So he gets out of that. He's on crutches, so he's not able to walk. So they had to give him crutches so that he can hold on and he could try walking. Okay. She's responsible not just for his care, but for other soldiers. So he tries to help her out. It seems that the patients all like Luce. She's just really a marvelous nurse. Okay. And as I said, you can tell from the first paragraph, when Luce sat on the bed, okay, that they're close, that they're become very good friends. So in the second paragraph, they continue that on. Once he gets better, keep in mind, once soldiers got better, they may not be at 100%, they may limp a little, but once they are in better shape and still can fight, they go back to the front. In other words, they go back to wherever they had been when they got hit. Okay, so he's going to go back to the front to continue fighting. And they go to the church and they pray, and it's really quiet. There are other people they're praying. And their idea is, remember I said they're very close. They've become really good friends. They want to get married. But unfortunately, there was not enough time because neither of them had birth certificates. So they needed those birth certificates. Even though they weren't married, they thought in their minds, Luce and the narrator, they felt married. Okay, in a way they didn't feel that they needed that paper that said you're now husband and wife. They wanted to share that though, but unfortunately they don't have the birth certificate, and they needed that in order to get married. So in our fourth paragraph, Luz wrote him many letters. So he goes back to the front, okay, and he never got those letters. And it wasn't until after the peace talks, in other words, the armistice, when there was peace between the various countries and the like. So at one point, he gets 15 all at once. And he would read them by the dates, okay? And she talks about the hospital, how much she loves him, and it was really hard for her to get on with life without him, and she misses him terribly. And once after the armistice, they agreed that, he should go home. And where's his home? It's in the United States, in the U.S., back in America. That he should go get a job right away so that they could get married. So they need a job. She can't quit being a nurse. And once he's done his duty at the front, he's done. Okay, that's in the way of thinking. So they're going to be without jobs. So yes, he needs a job. She has it that he can't drink, and until she wouldn't come till after he has a job, and it was understood he would not drink, and he didn't want to be with his friends or anything in the States. So they're talking New York. All he cared about was to get his job and to get married, because he loves Luz so much. And Luz loves him too. Okay. When they said their goodbyes, and they're at Milan, they're saying their goodbyes, because he wanted her, they argue because about her not being willing to come and home at once. He wanted her to come with. But she said, no, you got to get a job. You need to get a job. Okay, so they leave. Okay, they say goodbye and everything. But they leave on not a happy note. They were fighting. Okay, so he's back in the United States. We're talking like in New York, which is what he's interested in. And then she moved from Padua. She goes to Pordenone and to open a hospital. So she's really into taking care of people because patients love her. Okay. And so then there is a battalion of all these soldiers and Italian ones, and she meets one of them. And let's see, he's the major of the battalion of that troop, and they, in a sense, they fall in love. Yeah, she's going, what? Yes, the Italian major, yes. And she'd never known Italians before, and she's just so excited. And then she writes to the narrator and says to him, it's been really nice. It's been nice knowing you, but our affair was basically the love of a boy and a girl. It really wasn't a true love. It's just a boy and girl affair, okay? So she's really sorry. Hopefully you understand, she tells him, and he'll be grateful. He'll be able to forgive her one day, and she's expecting to marry this Italian, this major. Okay, and she hopes he has a great life, a great job, and so on and so on and so on. But the funny part is, in the last paragraph, we find out the major wasn't marrying her in the spring or ever. So she wasn't getting married. It seems that he went, instead of New York, he went to Chicago, the narrator. So she wrote a letter, sharing all this, but she never got an answer. So she has no idea if he ever got it and the like. Okay. And it would seem that he got a disease at one point, and because Hemingway basically leaves you with the idea that, okay, he couldn't have Luz, so he was just going to go on with his life, And yeah. So at the end, yeah, he gets a disease, and Hemingway leaves you with that. So you get the idea. Yeah, he's moved on with other affairs. Okay, so that is the story. A very short story. So much is in there, isn't there? Did you enjoy the story? You did fantastic. Okay, let's look at our first board. Let me get my marker, put the story over here, and let's do this. Again, Hemingway, fantastic writer. And if you look at that story, there really is no unnecessary word in that story. It is short. It is to the point. It is not flowery. He comes right on and says, it was just a boy and girl affair. You'll be able to understand. Never got the letter. He doesn't go on and on. And you go, oh gosh. You mean he never got the letter? Couldn't you have said that in 4 words? He doesn't do that. So I guess when you're a journalist, that's one of the things, the tricks you learn. You don't go on and on and on and on and on. You go right to the point, and that's what Hemingway does. And it does make for a short story. So his short stories are truly short. You may not think 8, 10, 15 pages is short, but some writers could take those 8, 10, 15 pages and make them 20. Because they may go on and on, which is fine. Every writer has a different style. That is Hemingway's style. Okay. To the point. Nothing that you don't need is in there. Just what you need. The love affair. That's not a love affair. We move on. There you go. Okay. So we're talking day 2, very short story. As I asked you did take notes, okay, to write down information. So when we talk, as I told you last time, when we talk about the narrator, as Hemingway says, he calls him he. There's good reference that the he is a man, a soldier, named Nick Adams. Okay, one of Hemingway's characters, who just shows up quite often in various stories. Many things happen to this poor man. He just doesn't seem to have much luck, and not really. The stories I've been reading, it's like, wow. You can say right there, he didn't have much luck, did he? He did, and then it just fell apart. Okay. So it could be Nick Adams. So you might meet him down the road if you read something else by Hemingway. So I hope you're thinking, I'd like to read something else. I hope you do read something more by Hemingway. Start with his other stories. Now, he's not into poetry. Okay? So start with his other stories and move to the novels. It's fantastic. Very good. Okay, setting. We're talking about the time and place. So we're talking World War I. So Nick Adams is of that period. Okay. These are the various places that we come to. We have Patua, where we start and we end in the United States. The idea was to go to New York, but obviously she's trying to write a letter and it's going to... Hold on. And she says, Liz never got an answer to the letter to Chicago about the non-marriage and the like, okay? And actually wanted to get married, and I guess it didn't happen. Those Italians, she might be thinking, okay. So we have Milan, where they got together before he drove off, went on the train, and off we went. We have Genoa, we have Pordenone, okay, various places in Italy that, are mentioned, and the characters are. Okay, so we go from Patua to the United States. In other words, Chicago, New York. When you talk about themes, what are the points? Yes, there is more than one point to the story, and there are many more. I just tried to pull 2 that would really be fitting. Love. They had a love, the 2 of them, Luce and he. I don't want to call him Nick Adams, just in case it's not Nick Adams, but scholars just say they're looking at, it's got to be Nick. There's just everything, because he fell in love with his nurse, and this narrator fell in love with his nurse. Okay, and then of course it fell apart, which happens to Nick all the time. All his love affairs just go. Okay, so excuse me. So is it a true love? For the narrator, it was. He really loved his nurse. and he really wanted to get married to her, and he really wanted her with him. Had she been with him, she'd never have met that Italian major. Okay? You can also say love. Life is not always what you want it to be. And the thing about it, when you look at themes, which is the main idea, the main point, okay? A theme is the main point, the main idea. You've got to be able to prove it. We can prove it was love. They talk about it. They're very close. Okay? They want to get married. They want to share it, but not till they have their birth certificates, are able to do paperwork. Okay, so they're in love. Life is not always what you want it to be. She wanted to marry him, but she met someone better. And she thought, oh, I'll get married to this Italian major. Okay? So yes, it was an Italian major. The major of the battalion. Okay? Didn't happen. So life is not always what you want it to be. She just thought, with the narrator, it was just a boy and a girl. It's just a little thing. Just a little affair. Same for the narrator. Life is not what you want it to be. He thought he'd be married to Luz. It didn't happen. He reads these letters. Wow, she found someone better. How nice. And in the end, he's ill. Okay? Life is not always what you want it to be. Do you have any questions about that? No? Okay. Let's look at some vocabulary. You might have covered these in your assignment, but let's do this anyway. When we talk about the Duomo, okay, in Italian, it's a church. Quite often it's a bit fancy, okay, but it's a church. When we talk about the Loop department store, that's where he met the girl, okay, and when they got in a taxi cab, the taxi together. She was from a Loop department store. It's like a Macy's, like those big stores, okay, box stores and the like. And quite often, sort of in circular. There would be a store here, and it goes sort of like loop. Loop is meaning like, if it's a loop, it's in circle. Okay, a loop. You go in a loop, you go around in a circle, round and around. Here we go. Okay, battalion of Arditi in Italian. Those are assault units. So this major belonged to an assault unit. And the assault units, at least in Italy in those days, they attacked first. They're like our Marines here in the United States. The Marines go first on land. They're hit first. Okay? Same with the assault units. They attack first and are attacked first. And then in Nima, okay, which is mentioned for the treatment and like in the very beginning, okay, let's see. Let me see. Operating when he was getting operated on. And they had a joke about a friend or enema. Enema is a medical treatment. Okay? It sort of cleans out your body, your body and the like. All right? Any questions? And of course, they talk about the disease at the very end that he contracted, yes, and from a sales girl in a Loop department store, yeah, while they were in the taxi together. Okay. But here's some vocabulary. Hopefully that helps you. And here's the assignment. If you have questions, remember, let me know. So we're nearing the end. Here's your assignment. Make sure you have the link to the story. Maybe you printed it off if you were able to do that. If you have access and the like. Because you need to write a summary of the story. Remember, summary is the key points. What are the key points of this story? In a way, I gave you a summary of every single paragraph, didn't I? In a sense. Okay, so I need you to write a summary. It needs to be at least 5 sentences. At least 5 sentences. Okay? And I need the title, A Very Short Story. So write a summary. Key points. What are the key ideas in this story? So if I wanted a summary of the story, what are you going to give me? Okay, that's the idea here. The key points. At least 5 sentences. Not 3 or 4, 5. Which means you could write 6, 7. But don't write 20. I don't want the whole story. Okay, so write a summary, at least 5 sentences, and use the title, A Very Short Story. Okay? So again, you're using the title, and it's up here, hidden by the posted on, a very short story. Okay. So you'll use Hemingway's. All right? Do you have any questions about the assignment? Summary? Okay. Here's your daily question. Today's what they call Earth Day. Okay? Everyone focuses on the earth, making sure it's clean and not polluted and the like. So, what makes Earth Day special? What makes Earth Day special? Okay, here's your assignment, and there's your question. If you need any help or anything, please let me know. Contact me. You know how to reach me. Okay? You know how to reach me. Yes, you do. Or should I say, you know how to reach Hemingway. Okay. So, everything is due today. The summary and the answer to that Earth Day question. I hope you have a fantastic day. Till next time, bye-bye.